G'day legends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tony and this is the Mighty Jimny, where I'll be taking you on my West Australian outdoor and camping adventures, as well as doing some gear reviews and mod installs on the JB74 Suzuki Jimny. So if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're kept up to date with all of my content coming out over the next little while. So guys, what we're going to be doing today is a gear review on the Oztent RS-1 king size single swag and the king size single stretcher. If you're a swag camper like myself and you like to throw the swag up on the roof and then just kind of get away to a different campsite, this might be the option for you if you want to get up off the ground. Now, there's a whole heap of different brands out there that run the stretcher and swag combos. However, this one touts to be a 30-second setup on the swag. So that's part of the reason why I've gone with this particular product when it comes to the Jimny sleeping system that I've got set up over here. So we're going to get cracking on with this review. You go get yourself a cold beer or a warm drink, sit back and relax, and I'll do all the hard work. So first things first, how does this bad boy fit up on the roof? Now, as you can see up there, it is a fairly large unit, but it does fit up on the roof pretty well, and it's relatively low profile in regards to how tall it is when you actually set it up. One of the reasons why I've gone with this particular setup is because it is a little lower than what my previous swag was. When I rolled up the big double swag, I found that it ended up being quite big on the top of the roof. Now, if you go have a look at one of my other videos, in particular the Captain Fawcett track, what I did at the start of the year, you can see when I was full driving through the place. I mean, this thing was huge. It was way up here. You can see up the top of me roof rack there. So, but if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's a good one. But this is the new option. Now, this is one of the reasons. Now, one of the other reasons why I've gone with this particular swag setup is because it touts a 30-second setup. Now, it's not going to take us 30 seconds today because I'm going to go through each of the components, and it also takes a little bit of practice. I don't carry heaps and heaps of gear up on my roof. There has been a little bit of talk lately about the different weights and things like that that people carry up there. I know some of the other YouTubers out there that do a fair bit of overlanding did stack their Jimny roofs up quite a lot, and everything from rooftop tents and all that kind of stuff. However, I like to keep it relatively low, so it's literally just the swag and the stretcher up there, and then the other things on the rack itself. So if it does put me over, it's not by much, but it's one of the kind of limitations about the Jimny is that roof loading. Now, when I do a full review as a long-term owner of a Jimny, I'll actually go into that. So, but for today, as you can see, it's a fairly straightforward kind of setup where I just throw it up there, throw the straps down, and then I'm off. Rightio guys, so here is the Oztent RS-1 stretcher. We'll start with this one so we can set this one up and then set the swag up on top of it. Now, first and foremost, it comes in a really nice canvas bag, and it's quite a good piece of kit in regards to the quality of the build. You can see decent sturdy zips and things like that as well, which is really good. And one of the advantages of having a stretcher in a bag like this is that once it all goes back in, you can throw it back up on the roof and it's not going to get damaged by the weather or anything out. Now, it's a fairly straightforward kind of setup. However, like all stretchers out there, they do have a few little pinch points and things like that. So first, please guys, take care with your little fingers, and if you've got kids and stuff like that that are going to try and set these up, you know, with their little fingers and stuff like that, it's going to really hurt them if they don't have parental supervision for this one. So just make sure with all stretchers that they've got a bit of supervision, and then you're yourself actually taking care in regards to how you set these up. Alright guys, to set this one up, what you're going to be doing is first unzip it and take the whole thing out of its bag. Now, you've got these two end piece poles, just put them to side for one moment, and then take the actual the stretcher, sorry, out of the canvas bag. Now, I apologise if I mix up swag and stretcher a few times during this video. Alright, so that's how it comes when it's all packed up. Pretty easy to repack it and unpack it, so just undo your Velcro straps there. Alright, so what you want to be doing is then folding it out so you bring yourself and you've got this T. Alright, now this here is first off the basic shape of the swag, and then what you want to do is get each of these ends and then fold them down like so. So you can see here, I just grab this one, and I fold it down like that, and I grab this end, and I, once again, fold it down like that. And you can see there you've got your front and rear legs and also the one in the middle. Pick the whole thing up, and then it opens up like so. Now once you've got it all folded out, give it a little bit of a brush off and make sure that you don't have any leaves or anything like that on it, and grab your two poles from before. Now there's going to be two of them here, right? And one of them is slightly longer than the other, and there's a reason for this. What you're going to do is grab that short end one and throw that in first. You can see here you've got these little notches on either end. Okay, you want to grab the shorter of the two and then slide them in this way. Now you need to make sure that the little holes in the end are orientated in the right way up, and as they go through, one will just click onto that side and then the other will click here. So put one there. Now it does take a little bit of muscle, right, and all you're going to do is just click the other one down here. But this is what I mean about making sure that you don't get any of your fingers and everything caught inside. This is where we have a look at the other one, and you'll see why it's a bit longer. Right, grab your other one, slide it through, once again making sure that it is the right orientation. And then when you slide it through, this is where that little bit of extra length on this side comes into play. So first off, click this side here in. So what this does is it gives you a little handle that you can push on and enable you to stretch the fabric out and then actually finish off this. So push that there, pull it down a bit, now let's pop that down there. Give them a little knockdown, make sure that they're all in. So there you have it, that's the most of the setup done. Now I'll go over a couple of features of this particular kit. So first off, it is designed to go with the RS-1 king size single swag. It's the right dimensions that they match up really well, and you'll see that in a moment. Second of all, it's rated to 200 kilos or 440 pounds if you're an American, and also it has the anti-sway bars. So I'll go over those quickly as well, and what it does is it comes together to be quite a very comfortable but also a very sturdy stretcher system. So really good, and I can say that from the night that I spent down at Lake Brockman, really nice and comfortable piece of kit. So as you can see on the sway bars, basically they just fold out like so, and then they just tighten in with that little wing nut that's there. And down the bottom you can also see the retaining straps, so you can actually strap your king size single swag to the actual stretcher itself. So that's the RS-1 king size single stretcher. You can see it's quite big, you can see that it's quite comfortable, it's a really good make of material, and yeah, look, and it's quite sturdy as well. I mean, this is not going anywhere anytime soon. Really good piece of kit, and it suits the Jimny sleeping system quite well. Alright, so I'm going to grab the RS-1 king size single swag out now, and we're going to go over that piece of kit because it's probably the most important one. Alright guys, so as you can see here, I've pulled down the Oztent RS-1 king size single swag, and it comes once again in its own canvas bag. So this is quite a good robust piece of kit, and it's good quality material. You can see on the inside that it's also that kind of weatherproof side on the inside, so it's quite good sturdy zip, and also good straps and everything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this bad boy up, and I'll go through how to set up, and then I'll go through the different features. So first off, take it out of the canvas bag. Alright, now when opening this bag, you can actually see what's inside. We've got our poles. Now this is for the swag's little awning. Right, we've also got the swag itself, we've got the mattress that folds out into the bottom, and then we've also got our little bag of different pegs and all of these kinds of pieces here. So these are very important, and we'll go through each one of those. So first off, we'll go over these poles. Now the poles themselves, they are basically your standard kind of retractable pole setup. Okay, they're pretty straightforward, just twist them open, lengthen, then twist to tighten, and they have just got the normal little tent spike that goes into the corner of the awning that sits on here. Now these are long enough that you can actually set the awning up properly when you have the stretcher as well. Okay, so it does take that into account. So they're quite good, and the good quality, light, lightweight aluminium and stuff like that, so and a rubber bottom, so they're quite sturdy as well. So inside the actual peg bag, you've got a whole heap of different gear. You've got a few extra tie down ropes, and you've got a whole host of these decent quality pegs. They're pretty sturdy pegs, so, and you get quite a few of them there, mainly for if you are putting this straight onto the ground. There's plenty of different little tie downs and everything like that which are located on that as well, and they come in their own little canvas bag, as do the poles. We've also got the mattress as well. It's a 25mm thick mattress, and it's retained inside the swag itself, the swag bag itself, with these little seatbelt strap with a little plastic clip on the end of it. So they're quite good. Now what we're going to do is get straight into the main piece of kit, and that is the actual swag itself. So I'm going to put that to all of this to one side, and I'll pull out the actual swag. Okay, as you can see here, we've got the Oztent RS-1 swag out here. You can see that it's a pretty good canvas, really nice, durable. You've got the PVC bottom for it, as you can see here, as well as you've got the full strap piece here with the plastic clip that enables you to tighten down on it, get it all nice and compact, and also pack it away inside the canvas bag. To set this up, first off, we're going to unclip, leave that there, and then we're going to put this little flap here, fold that out. All right, that gives you a little bit of shape there, and then we're going to fold each of the legs out. Okay, now these just fold down like that, nice and easy. You don't have to force them or anything like that. And as you can see, it's already taken that rectangular shape for the base of the actual swag. Okay, now the next bit looks a little funny, but it is quite easy to do. Okay, what we're going to be doing now is setting up the actual swag itself. Now you've got to do that from sitting there, but I'll just quickly do this from over here, all right, so you can see what's going on. This here lifts up like so, right, and you can see that's how it goes up there. But I'll do it this side, and this is how it's meant to be done. Okay, so the way that you put this up is you actually sit down in it. Now, this isn't going to look pretty, I'll be honest, but it's fairly straightforward. So what you want to be doing, right, is grab back, grab the actual thing. Now, you want to pull it as far forward as you can. Reach in and then slide these frame pieces across, and what that's going to do is actually lock the whole frame in. So it's pretty straightforward. Push all the way forward. That's one side, and that's the other side. Okay, so you can see there, that's the swag set up. I'm just going to use the GoPro in here, and now you can see here, this is the frame piece. Now that there, you can see how that slides along like that. All right, that's what's holding up your actual frame piece there. Okay, so now that it's up, you can see inside the actual swag itself, you've got these little Velcro tabs, and what they're there for is just to lock the frame piece in. That's basically there to ensure that the frame doesn't come down and collapse on you during the night. Okay, now regardless of whether or not you use a swag or a tent, this one or a different one, you do not want your swag or your tent coming down on you during the night, okay, for things like the old suffocation reasons. Okay, so like Mum said when you're a kid, don't put a plastic bag on your head. Okay, this is very important. So make sure, there's even a little warning there, make sure you go through and put your little Velcro tabs there and make sure that they're all done up properly and nice. Alright guys, so now that we've got the RS-1 swag set up, what I'm going to do is go through some of these features. Now, as you can see, you've got your T-shaped side entry door at the front here. You can see that you can roll the canvas door all the way open, but you've also got the bug mesh in behind it, and that can quite easily be rolled up to go in behind that canvas door as well. And like I said, it's fully zipped, okay? Each side can be completely zipped up to completely seal the swag up, especially for bad weather or whatever, and lock most of that heat in. Okay, so that's quite good. Now the other thing that you can see at the front is that you've got your little vent flaps that are here. Okay, this enables you to reduce the amount of condensation that builds up on the inside of your swag during the night, and also lets a little bit of fresh air and everything, reduces that amount of CO2 that's in there, so you don't have so much of a headache in the morning. Now they can be completely rolled up And then once again, it's just those little toggle tags, all right, and they basically stay there just like that. And Velcro at the bottom to lock them down when you're not using them. Say, for example, if the rain's particularly bad or something like that. You can also see up the top here, we've got the little self-contained awning. Now this awning is actually a really nice piece of kit because it has two sides to it. So you can see on this side it's actually silvered, and then the top side is got the normal same khaki kind of colour there. Now the reason for this is that you can either use it as its own little swag awning, or you can flop it over the top, and what that does is provide a little bit of sun protection and reflect some of that radiant heat away. Now this is particularly good if you're doing something like camping on the beach, or if it's a really hot day. Now for those of us in Western Australia, we know what that's all about. Okay, so that option is there for you. Now the good thing about this having its own little awning is that it means that you can do a couple of things. One, if you don't have an awning on your car, so some Jimnys don't run an awning, okay, when it comes down to roof loading and things like that, some Jimny guys prefer not to have a awning set up on there. I do, but some people don't. And if you do have this kind of little awning set up on the swag, it means that you've actually still got a bit of outdoor shelter, so you can sit under there and you know, get your camp chair out and still actually be outside and everything like that, and have a bit of shelter from the sun and also the rain. Now the other thing with it as well, and the thing that I like about it, is I actually use this to meet up with my car awning. And I'll show you how that goes a little bit later. But first and foremost, let's open it up and have a look. So these are pretty straightforward, guys. They're just a little toggle tag. And as you can see, she rolls straight out like that. Okay, like I said, it's got that nice khaki colour on that side, and then on this back side it's actually got that silvered look there. Now what I said before was you could flip that over the top, and when it's over the top there you can tag that down, and once that's tagged down, that's going to provide a great little reflective kind of barrier there for any crazy heat that's going on. Now underneath here you can actually see a few of these little tags. Now these tags are quite cool. They're just little bungee type tags, and the good thing about them is you can hang almost anything off them. One of the things that most people usually do is put like little lanterns, or they throw one of the little mosquito repellent kind of things on there, a few other things like that. They're really, really handy, okay? I'll probably be using them for a myriad of different things, but mainly things like glow sticks or lanterns, or I might even run like a little LED strip underneath there or something like that for a little bit of extra camp light while I'm out bush. Now the other one as well that you can see down the bottom is this little power tab. So if you've got, say, a inverter power system, or even a 12 volt portable battery that you want to pop underneath the stretcher or something, and then run like a heated blanket or any of those kinds of things, because you can buy those little 12 volt heated blankets, okay, you can actually run the power cord up through that little opening, and it's all flapped over quite well. So what it will actually do is maintain that barrier to the outside. So one, you're not going to get any creepy crawlies try and get their way into your swag, but also it means that if it's particularly bad weather or something like that, then you can maintain that that barrier. Righto guys, so on the back here you can see a few more of these little additions. Now first off, one thing that Oztent's done is they've created these little pockets here for all of your tie down points. One, that means that most of your tie down points are going to keep nice and secure, and they're also not going to be so jumbled up, so they just tuck in there quite there. You're also not going to lose them. But the other thing as well is that it also keeps all the dirt and crap out of them, so while you're not using them, it just protects them a little bit more. Now one of the other things as well is you've got this little side window, so you can see here that it actually opens right up, and it's got a couple of little zips on the inside. You can either have it like this, or you can zip it all the way down so it's shut. You open the first zip, and what it does is it creates like a little eave point, so you can have that completely dragged out like this, and it's any rain or anything is going to run off, but you're still going to get that nice ventilation that comes through there. Or what you can do is completely open this up, and then that allows you full access to this side window that's down here. Now if you've got a nice view or something like that, this is a pretty interesting little window that you want to have here. If it's nice and warm, you want to get a bit of extra airflow, or if you're trying to dry the inside of your swag out because you've managed to get some water or something like that in there. So really good little additions there, very, very handy. Now on the side here you can see that there's more little ventilation points. This side ventilation point here has a little kind of stick piece that enables you to prop that open and provide a little bit more ventilation as well. Alright guys, so that is all of the features on the outside of the swag. Let's go ahead and have a look at the features on the inside of the swag. So you can see here that you've got your 25mm mattress. Now it's quite comfortable, in particular if you combine it with the king size single stretcher. Now if I was sleeping straight on the ground, I would definitely be going for slightly thicker mattress, or I'd be going for like a self-inflatable or even a proper inflatable mattress. So that's something to think about if you're only going to be using this, or to be honest, any swag straight on the ground. One of the other little features of the inside is this little pocket. It's got a little warning sign on there that tells you don't use anything flammable inside. That's just standard safety when you're using tents. But what it's for is basically you can throw your phone or your headphones, or if you've got a little power bank, throw that in there. If you want to throw your book in there or something along those lines. So there's lots of little options that you can throw in there. It's just a little organizer, okay? So it's quite handy and it's there. Now the other thing as well, on the underside of the inside here, it's also got more of these little bungees, okay? So you can run a little like an LED strip in there if you want some lighting in there, or a few other options as well. Okay, now what I've done for what I've done for my sleeping arrangement is I've decided to go with quite a large sleeping bag, the 23 Zero Alaska Black 1400. This thing rolled up is actually probably bigger than the swag itself, but it turns it into really like a Tajma tent. It's awesome. So super comfortable, really thick. It's got its own little pillows and stuff in there. Now there's a couple of little things on the bottom of the swag that I'll go through that shows you how you can link the two of them up together. So pretty important when you're using this in conjunction with the actual stretcher itself that you need to strap it down to the stretcher, okay? So one, it means that if something happens, it's not going to roll off. It just makes the whole thing a little bit more stable. And basically, because you're not like pegging it down like you normally would when you are throwing it on the ground. So basically the little rings that you'd normally peg down to, these little straps go through, and there's a little D-ring on the other side. You bring it through that and tighten it up. Do that to all four corners, and it just works an absolute treat. So make sure as well that you're doing your little anti-sway bars like I showed you before, and together this thing is not going to move around at all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up the Rhinowrap batwing awning, and I'm going to show you what I meant by how I marry the two up, and this gives me almost a continuous awning point for the car all the way down to my swag. Righto guys, behind me you can see what I've done is I've clipped my swag awning up to the Rhinowrap awning. This almost gives me a completely unbroken awning piece down to the actual swag itself. Now in the future, as you can see, you've got these zip points here on the edge of the different segments of the Rhinowrap awning. So what I'm thinking about actually doing is seeing if I can have that same style zip on the opposite side there, stitched onto the edge of my my swag awning, and then it's basically like a Rhinowrap accessory. It will just zip straight onto it. So that's for those that have got this particular awning and swag combo. It's an option. At the moment, all I've done is I've just used a couple of carabiner clips and a little tarp clamp for that centerpiece, and I may even go ahead and do the same kind of here just to enable it to kind of come together a little bit better. But for the most part, like this just provides like a larger kind of little area here. Guys, to finish up, I'm just going to go through a couple of the pros and cons of this particular setup, and what have really kind of tipped me over the edge in regards to why I went with this this setup itself. So first off, I'll go through some of the cons and finish on a high note, I guess. The stretcher itself it's a little bit heavier than I thought it was going to be. And the packaging, while it's not huge, it's still probably just a tiny bit bulky to put on the inside of the Jimny. I mean, I could, but it would probably be at the sacrifice of other things. So while I don't mind putting it up on the roof, I was kind of hoping I wouldn't have to, but it's not a big deal. But it is a con in regards to the micro overlander kind of thing, in regards to the limiting the amount of stuff that I want to put up on the roof and only just put the essentials up there. So unfortunately, it's kind of at this stage become one of those essentials. The other thing as well is that while it promotes itself as being a 30-second setup, and I'm very sure with practice I'd probably be able to get it down closer to that, it's out of the box. It's probably a little bit more than that, just purely because you need a little bit of practice in getting stuff in and out and all that kind of stuff, and setting up those frame pieces. So, but that being said, it's certainly under 2 minutes, and that's really good. The only other thing as well is I noticed I was quite cold on my night that I spent down at Lake Brockman, because I, being a novice when it comes to stretcher camping, didn't kind of take into account the fact of the amount of cool air that circulates through underneath between the ground and the stretcher swag kind of area. So if you're going to do that, make sure that you go get yourself a really decent sleeping bag and decent kind of thermal underlay, I guess, to kind of help out with that. So they're probably the only 3 cons that I can think of that certainly didn't turn me off it. But, you know, just being realistic, they're kind of things that you need to be aware of. So looking at some of the pros, and there is a few of them. First off, while I said it's not quite the 30-second setup that it's advertised as in regards to not having the practice, I'm sure with practice that you could get, you know, quicker at putting it up. It's certainly under 2 minutes. You could easily get this sorted and up within a couple of minutes, and especially when you've got the stretcher as well to put up. It does take a little bit longer than that, but as in, like, you can have it really well set up, and in a kind of a like an emergency setup where the rain's coming or something, you're going to be, you know, miles in front of other people that are still trying to feed the little loops through their swags and stuff like that. So for that, I quite like it. Second of all, the canvas bag is really good. It's nice and sturdy, and it protects the swag itself while I throw it up on the roof. So while we're driving down the freeway and everything like that, or even, you know, into the dirt roads, it's not getting splattered with bugs and things like that. And while swags are meant to be, you know, out in the open and all those kinds of things, if I can avoid getting bugs splattered all over my swag, that's a plus for me. The little hidey holes and the little attachments and stuff like that are absolutely fantastic. They're just little comfort things, but it also means packing it up's really easy as well, because all your tie downs kind of sit in those little pockets. So there's another pro there. The awning's fantastic. That's probably the biggest pro out of all of them. Is, you know, I initially thought it was going to be the fact that it was quick to set up, but that awning is fantastic. The fact that it matches up to my car, you know, that's brilliant. You know, I don't even bother using the poles, and I don't need to. And not while there may be occasions where I do use them, I don't have to. I'd bang it straight up onto that, and it's fantastic. So I really do like that. That's probably a big plus for me there. A couple of the other pluses in regards to the build quality, it's really good quality PVC at the bottom, and also really good quality canvas on the top section. So you know, it feels like it's gonna last. It's not cheaply made or anything like that. It packs away well, and it also packs away with a slightly lower profile than what some of my other swags have done. I've noticed as well with the bigger swag that I've got at home, if I leave kind of the sleeping bag and stuff in, all of a sudden it gets bigger and bigger, and then it's like this big kind of roly-poly kind of thing, and it's a bit of a nightmare in regards to that. So it creates kind of like basically a wind sail up on the top of the Jimny. Now, Jimnys are kind of known for that high center of gravity, and, you know, they're a narrow car with a big kind of side profile, so they do get buffeted around by the wind a fair bit. And one of the problems with that is that, especially if you're doing 100k an hour, it does cause a few issues there. So keep that in mind. But these things, when it comes to stacking stuff on the roof, it actually sits quite relatively low in the grand scheme of things. So it's only like, you know, 10 or so centimeters high off the actual the roof rack there. So that's not too bad at all. And also when packing it up, so, you know, the pack up's pretty much just as fast as what you set it up as. You know, you put this, the awning down, you zip it up, and you just move those legs in. It straps up nicely, and you can throw it straight into the bag. And also with the bag, the mattress clips down onto the inside of the bag as well, which is a bonus. So everything's nice and sturdy in there. So definitely a few pros there, a couple of cons, but definitely a few pros. For me, the reason why I've gone for this particular setup is, at the end of the day, it matches up with my awning, and it provides me a really good quality, relatively fast set of shelter, and once I throw my big sleeping bag and everything in there, it's the home away from home. It's brilliant. So especially for those longer trips that I plan on doing later on in the year when I get back from work, you know, I plan on doing some, you know, potentially, you know, full 2-week long kind of trips. And after spending 2 weeks in a swag on the ground, you're going to probably start to feel it, right? Even if you're a young buck, you know, I'm sure you're going to start feeling it. So I won't give away my age, but to be honest, you know, I can't really imagine the idea of sleeping on the floor for 2 weeks straight is going to do well for my lower back. So keep that in mind as well. But the swag does provide some, sorry, the stretcher, sorry, provides some really good support there and everything like that, which is really good. All right, guys. So look, that's the Oztent RS-1 king size single stretcher and the king size single swag. If you like this video, please subscribe. I've got other gear reviews that I've done over the time, so go down and head those up. I'll throw some little links up here, so those little cards will pop up at the moment. But look, like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you very much for everyone so far that has subscribed. I'll get lots of really awesome comments and everything like that from everyone, so please continue on the party. We'll be doing a camping run soon, and there's also going to be another guy that's going to be doing some co-hosting with me that you've already met, which is Sam. He came down to Lake Brockman, and he actually picked up a Jimny himself. So we'll be doing a walk around with his Jimny, and we're also going to be doing some camping trips together in the near future. So look, guys, crack on. I'm going to pack this bad boy up and go get myself a cold one. Hope you enjoy, and yeah, see you on the next trip. Enjoy.